Welcome back. On Wednesday this week, the Senate held a hearing on campaign finance, voting rights, and ethics. Former Attorney General under Obama, Eric Holder, testified and stated that politicians, not the people, are the ones choosing our leaders, and that needs to change.
Every step that has brought us closer to universal suffrage has been met by those, often by those who are in power, who want to maintain an unjust status quo. Much in the same way that Reconstruction was followed by the era of Jim Crow, the progress won by the Civil Rights Movement, including the Voting Rights Act of 1965, has faced a multi-pronged assault that has sought to take us back to an era in which politicians, not the people, pick who wins and consequently who can participate in elections.
Holder failed to acknowledge that it's the Democrats who are suspected of cheating and his party that has done the most damage. What do you think about his comments?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. And what Holder is doing here is he's using racially charged language to try to push this point, this specter of some sort of racial bias or some sort of control over people that disenfranchises them. But in reality, we all understand, I think everyone here on the panel understands, that it was the Democratic Party that has institutionalized over the years, and certainly in 2020, all of the mechanisms that allow the circumvention of voting laws that are already on the books. So it's patently absurd that Holder would imply that there are forces out there that are in opposition to the people and who are acting to choose their leaders rather than... By the way,
it was Democrat lawmakers who were fighting tooth and nail to keep 170,000 outdated voters registered in the state of Michigan. And in the 2020 election, Joe Biden allegedly won Michigan by 150,000 votes. Only recently has that been overturned, but we're already past the election.
But Democrats, time after time, have rejected every single effort to scrub the voter rolls.
Right. The Obama administration used the IRS to suppress the Tea Party movement. Just remember, they used the IRS to attack grassroots people organizing to oppose people that were already in office.
Right, so it's a little bit disingenuous for him to imply that Republicans are the ones doing this.
We need to acknowledge the fact that Jim Crow was instituted by Democrats. So they apparently don't understand history because it's always been Democrats that's been suppressing votes.
Right.
So they have the history of doing that.
Congressman James Comer of Kentucky criticized Democrats and specifically Nancy Pelosi for trying to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state. He described it as an unconstitutional power grab and a strategic move by Democrats to give them 2 additional Senate seats.
H.R. 51, D.C. statehood, is actually Plan B of the Democrat political power grab. Plan A was to eliminate the filibuster in the Senate. But since it appears Joe Manchin isn't going to play these dirty Democratic games, now Speaker Pelosi is stepping in with an unconstitutional bill to make Washington, D.C. a city smaller than Columbus, Ohio, and a city that just happens to be 90% Democratic, the 51st state.
Is his analysis right?
Comer's exactly correct. It's an unfortunate look with his mask around his chin. Nonetheless, he's right on the nose regarding this. This is a political stunt. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail. We'll see.
Testament, too, to the fact that Democrats just can't get enough politicians in their lives.
Right.
And we've seen this play out before about making D.C. the 51st state, which, of course, it never has. Why did they continue to push it?
Because from their point of view, it's an easy +2 in the Senate. I mean, it's just that simple. This is raw politics, and the Constitution very deliberately set up a separate district for the capital for just this reason. They don't care. I mean, the intentions of the framers don't matter. It's just raw politics. How many votes can you get, period?
All right, it is time for the lightning round. Here we have 3 minutes and give the panelists each 10 seconds to answer, and we'll get through as many questions as we can. All right, I'll start with Andrew. This is from viewer Diane Brown. She asks, is Washington, D.C. so disconnected from the American people that it could spark resistance from the states in the middle?
Yes, they're very disconnected now. Whether or not they're going to go as far as it would take to spark resistance, that remains to be seen. But I would say that if we're going to resist, we need to do what we can to take the system back.
All right, Chanel.
It already has, and the American people are calling for the proverbial Rome in chains. The most recent example is the 13 attorneys generals who got together and are suing the Biden administration for some of their more damaging executive actions, that's driven by the people.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. They're all beholden to corporations and that money that's coming in. They don't care about middle America.
Okay.
And they never will.
Antrim County, Michigan announced that it would be hand counting ballots in their primary election on May 4th. This is meant to be a temporary solution, but are they actually leading the way?
Yes, I hope so.
And yes, but they also need to make sure that we secure absentee ballots and ensure that we are also securing mail-in ballot systems.
Physical ballots hand counted.
Absolutely. If it continues during the midterm elections
Okay.
and so on.
Is mask fatigue a real thing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm done.
Chris is done.
And I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I think people are sick of it. Is Biden flip-flopping his position on the border?
I don't think he really understands his own position, and I think that the position on the border has been what they intended all along, open borders, and we'll see whether or not they respond to public opinion.
Okay.
Right. I'm with Andrew. How can you flip-flop on a position that you don't understand to begin with?
They know exactly what they're doing. It's open borders. They're changing the country permanently.
Yeah, Democrats play a long-term game. They know that if you have more immigrants coming into the country, they have a constituency that will always vote Democrat. So they're trying to make sure that they keep that in the long term.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from the break, we'll view this week's panel's choice and see which topics they thought were important. We'll be right back.